Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii, and my co-host Tina Bird. Uh, so we're going to get into a couple things. We don't deal with lies. We don't deal with stories. I don't deal with storytellers. Tina likes them, but I don't. But people, we deal with the ultimate truth. All right. I mean, there's multiple stories. Famous people, they got a great story, but they won't say they were on a ship or they never met an alien. They won't say that, will they? But Tina and I both had direct experience in almost everything you can imagine. I mean, I wasn't up on a ship; she was, and a lot of times, so she knows more about it than anybody else out there. Mainstream, her body's going through radioactive problems, which nobody does. That say that, oh, I was on a ship. Really, it is radioactive for people if you're not in a spacesuit and everything else. And if they're there playing with your body, guess what? you're exposed to a lot of things, and Tina was. So her story is incredible. I think her, out of all the people, I mean, I was working with women when I was young that lost their children and stuff. I mean, that, but we didn't go public and they didn't want to go public. But Tina's story is all fits together and it all needs to be together. And basically, aliens don't do good things, people. I know Stephen Greer's pushing their good and they're going to help us, and everybody will go out and do meditation and you're talking to them. Oh, really? And I said, when you come back with something important, it'll be a miracle. Go ahead, Tina.
Well, this is so. I'm due to do a conference. I'm doing an international conference, and people coming over from America, and a few other people from around the world. I'm doing a conference in December, a 3-day conference. Now, and I talk about the effects of abduction. So I only talk about abduction. I'm a specialist in the abduction field, nothing else. And recently, with the government reports and everything, and the scientific reports they released, and so they tested a pilot. We went through this before. They tested a pilot to find that he suffered minor brain damage while in a fighter jet, while a UFO passed underneath him at speed. So he was in a protected plane, protected suit with a helmet on. They then tested the ground crew of this fighter jet, and they were even more astonished to find that the ground crew had even more brain damage with their protected helmets on and their protective suits on. Now, my argument is they've proven that. They said the side effects of abduction or just being near a UFO, witnessing a UFO. So if a UFO is near you, it can cause you harm in radiation burns, death, abduction. There's a whole host of them. Now, if you see one and you're on a distance to see one, that radiation from that ship can affect you, because if it can affect a fighter jet going thousands of miles an hour and it's surpassing it, for that brief split second, it's irradiated the pilot. Now, you don't have protective clothing on. I don't go to bed with protective clothing on. Children don't go to bed with protective clothing and helmets on. So when they come and take you and put you on board their ship, you're getting some form of radiation. You are receiving some form of brain damage. They're subduing you, either by frequency and a pheromone with light. Either way, they are biologically, physiologically damaging your body. Now, when these things crash in our atmosphere, which they are known to do, they contaminate the land they've crashed on. They contaminate the land that they crash on with animals in. Whether your animals are grazing in that farm, you have farm animals, pigs, sheep, cows, cattle, you have pets, cats, dogs, goldfish, you have children. If they crash near your house, near your forest, they're radiating the birds, the food. It's worse still when they crash into the ocean. They're radiating the ocean, the fish in the ocean, the sea, the coral, all sea life, the birds that live off that sea, and you and your children swim in that sea. And in some cases around the world, they take water from the sea. So there's a few questions straight away, danger to life. Now, other countries have come forward, now keeping a tally, to say that there's loss of life due to the pursuit of contact or defending our world. Shot down. So that I have connective issues, and each time I come on, we lose signal. So I do apologise. Please bear with us. It is a technical fault outside of our control. So that is my biggest issue, and they're paying servicemen and women They're paying them disability payments. They're paying them compensation. My argument is they've come out and said abduction is real because that's what they tested these military people for. They were abducted. So that proves abduction is real, and that's a scientific, undeniable fact. And many of these scientific studies that have been released since 2010, which they did load on US Air Force and women, so they know abduction is real because they've tested human beings. We're all biological human beings, whether you've got a suit or a helmet on. If you're in the military, just because you've got a uniform on doesn't mean to say you're protected from radiation. I don't have a military uniform on. I'm not protected from radiation. So what makes them different from me? They're being protected. They're being investigated. They're being given protective equipment. They're being given painkillers, free medical treatment and checks for radiation poisoning. If I come home and my pet dies because I've been too close to him and hugging after I've been abducted and he dies, does he die from radiation poisoning? You tell me. So, are you taking it back to your family? Are you making your family ill? You don't know. You're not professional. You're not in the military, but the military know. That's the difference. Why aren't they telling the public? It wouldn't help me. They could open up an old airport or old hangar, something somewhere, and just test anybody that says that they've been abducted. They can tell with a scan. You can have a brain scan, and if you've got white matter disease, which is a side effect from being near radiation, and it's a unique signature, Professor Gary Nolan has captured that, has released that in his report. So where does that leave us? They know they're protecting the military, but they're not protecting the public. It comes to the crux. Have they made a deal? Before I just thought, it was a big conspiracy. But looking back now, have they made a deal? Don't they have the control over these biological beings or non-biological beings, or however you want to put it? And if they don't, why aren't they stopping them coming here? And if they can't stop them by coming here, and they are aggressive because they're shooting down our fighter lists, what's drawing them here? How are we going to keep them away? So there is no plan. You can't keep saying it's drones because one of these things is going to crash into a building one day, and then what they're going to do, because they're not far from it now. These things, you'll get the more and more reports of the smaller orbs, the smaller objects, and they're more frequent. It's just that they're not being reported in the news, but the frequency is still there. The reporting's still the same. What's changed? Nothing, apart from more people's getting sick. If more people's getting sick, then there is a serious problem. Excuse me. So if there's a serious problem, why aren't they doing something about it? Why aren't they protecting our pilots? If they can't protect our pilots from radiation, what are they doing up there? And certainly, why aren't they protecting the public? So with that, I'll hand it back to Tommy. If anyone wants to come in and jump in, while I still have signal, I'm quite happy to answer any questions. But Tommy, you can understand where I'm coming from. Their own scientific research is telling us that their men and women have side effects from being abducted.
Well, they don't care about us people, normal people.
Yeah, no, they don't care.
Middle and low class people, they don't care about us. So with the UFO world growing and expanding, the technology end of it, soon you're going to find out, and this is what I'm telling you straight out. I'm not a storyteller because I don't like to tell stories, but AI is going to be real for the fact that it will actually think for itself, which will be pretty strange because it's already doing it now. And the big corporations are kind of a little bit worried about it. But the new AI is going to be coming out within 6 months. That's supposed to be like 10 times more advanced than the old one.
I've got to stop you there. So it's supposed to be 10 times more advanced. So we have the Hubble Space Telescope. We have the International Space Station. We have telemetry on all these, everything flying about in space, from satellites to weapons. They can't take one picture of a UFO. They can't take one picture of anything coming into our atmosphere. They can't get one scan. You're telling me they don't have it? That's absolute nonsense. What a load of bull. They do have it up there. They're just withholding it from the public. And if it is up there and it doesn't work, where's our billions and billions and trillions of pounds refund? And if they can't make AI to stand, it really bites me. Sorry, Tommy.
In the United States, we have MJ-12 people. All right, they control everything. Eisenhower and Truman created it when a fleet of UFOs went over the White House. All right, now they restrict anything pertaining to UFOs and people talking about them. I lost 16 of my good friends in the past 25 years in the UFO world. I lost 2 whole families disappeared in the UFO world. One of my friends is in jail permanently. They framed him for murder. My
So,
really good my really good friend in the UFO world, Sean David Martin, was one of the top speakers, and he was also one of the top psychics in the United States. Was put in jail with 150 false charges. They tortured him for 2 years. He was dying. They had to let him out, and then he died last year on Christmas.
yeah, yeah.
But he actually discovered Area 51, what they were doing. He took a group of people on a van, drove up there, drove up to the top of the mountain, and watched the mothership come in. He took 6 different people there every couple of weeks, and they all saw it. So when they say, "Well, we don't know nothing," well, most of these people, I have no clue who they are, and he's dead,
So
so we can't find them.
you're actually right, but let me tell you, Tony, I watched. It was actually yesterday. I'll try and get it up. It was either on YouTube or on Netflix. It was 2 hours long, so it might have been on YouTube. A gentleman from Dreamland who actually worked at an inn on a Dreamland location has come forward. Now, let me put it into context. This gentleman was a United States Air Force weather specialist at a surface, above surface weather station. He was on his own in like a big, massive radio shack next to like two mountains, like next to a mountaintop in America. And he was called into this office. And they said, "Don't be sleeping up there all the time, or you can go to sleep," as a joke. And he said, "What do you mean I can go to sleep?" He said, "No, it's called Dreamland. You will not be asked to sign a non-disclosure act. You will not be asked to classify anything, and you are free to tell anybody anything that you see and hear. You just can't give out like the weather results because it was a military information." He said, "Anything you see and hear, you will not be questioned, and you will not be stopped anywhere." But he had to stay up there. I think he was relieved every few weeks or few months. And I'll get his name ready for next week. And he said what he did every morning, he came out at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, walked a couple of 100 yards from his little station he was in, had weather equipment, and he had to put lights and whatever in this weather balloon and send this weather balloon up to get accurate readings for the American military every day. He'd done that at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. He went back by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He was sending his report off. Now, he sent this report off, and then he said something happened. And he said 2 guys turned up in uniforms with these, what they described. He said that they were non-biological entities. They weren't human. They were what they called tall whites. And it was a group of females, 3 females that had children. They talked to him by telepathy, but I think one of them could either talk or talk through, but I'm not quite sure. It spoke English or it learned English, I'm not sure. But mainly it used telepathy. And apparently this female, that was like a lead supervisor female, said that he spoke to him on a few occasions and asked if it was all right. The children were intrigued by the light he put up with the balloon in the sky. Now, apparently, over the course of 2 years, they visited him at least 2 or 3 times a week, like with different families, and he would be like a test human because the children and other women from these, the had never seen a human before, apart from the military humans. But they had this weapon. He said it was set to like sodium, like an iodine setting, a sodium setting. So the iodine one would kill you straight away. The sodium it was like the vibration would kill you in your body anyway. And apparently they're more protective of their children than human females. But he was worried that one of them one day was going to tip something on themselves. But so he didn't want to frighten her because she would, no 2 ways about it, she would have killed him. He stepped forward, waited till she noticed him, and he like told her the problem. She was outside. She said the children didn't scream, didn't run, walk about, nothing. They were just inquisitive. And then she handled it, and then they went, and the children went off.
Tina, let me stop you. You're talking about Charles Hall.
It lasted
Tina.
2 years. And
Tina.
I could tell you, looking at
Let me say this. I met him, Charles Hall. He worked for the government on Area 53 or 54. There's a bunch of bases.
frozen. I think it's my signal.
You got frozen again. But okay, he was working with alien races, the tall whites, and they were on government property. But they had children that saw him sending up these balloons, and that's why they came to him. But we can't go near them. We'll die if we touch them. He got close to them and became deathly sick. But you know what? This is something that I found out when I got to hang out with him, right? I said, what's their favorite food? And he says, they come here, the one favorite food that they have here is strawberries. I started eating strawberries all the time. But no, he was the one that was dealing with them because he was brought in by the government to monitor the weather with these balloons and everything. And the little kids saw that and they came running over and stuff. And he made friends with them. Here's the thing. They offered to take us to a planet that's just like Earth. And the government said, no, we'll get there ourselves. They wanted to take us, but we couldn't get near them. And they said, look, but no, the government said, no way. But I don't know what happened. I don't even know if Charles Halls is still alive because he was getting public. He came to Hawaii. That's how I met him. But I got to hang out with him and talk to him about personal questions because, you know, a lot of speakers don't like to talk on stage about certain things. But when I met him, I said, well, where was that? I think it was Area 53 because they got Area 54 too. There's different races on different areas in the United States. So, again, it's just like Germany has an army base here. Russia has an army base here.
I want to know what attracts them, apart from us being another biological entity. What attracts them to our planet, to us? Is it just natural curiosity? That's what I want to know. Because
the tall whites are different. I wouldn't say they're bad. They don't hurt us. They got their own missions they're doing. They're working with the ground and different things. Most races are here for food, and I think you should know that. If not food, there's three other things: DNA, semen. All right. Now things like that. That's why they're here, and blood. Blood. They need that. And I could go into the whole thing about cattle mutilation. The government does it, and so do aliens. And the reason why I saw videos of it, my friend that was killed, all right, showed me the video. That's how they clone grays here. They put them in a sack of blood, and that's how they grow. They absorb their food through their pores, so they don't actually eat through their mouth or anything like humans do. But again, at that point, Sean had a couple videos which he showed me, which were all taken when they put him in jail. They took everything he owned. He had a video of Kennedy getting shot from the front of the car. He had a lot of cool videos. All right, how they clone the grays. But again, at that point, most alien races are here for food and all the other parts that I mentioned. None of them are here to help us. All right? None of them want to say, we're going to help you do this or that. The Egyptians, they never helped. The Mayans, they never helped. The native people who claim they work with the stars do not help us either. You know, people twist stories over and over. I understand your level of like the government doesn't help you, religion doesn't help you, God, spirit, angels, nobody helps you. Nobody helps you. You're right. And I feel bad because, you know, I was always protected. I'm not bragging about it, but all the things I did and went through, I was always protected. I mean, I had 5 death experiences, and I could have stayed gone the last time, but I decided to come back to do another book. Now, my books aren't about aliens because I can't do that. I know the government would take me out in a second. My ex-partner, Sergeant 18.
Sorry, guys, you just experienced technical difficulty again.
Well, Sergeant 18, who I worked with for years.
Hello.
We used to go out on government property where Tesla worked with DuPont. And we filmed more UFOs, more creatures, entities, including aliens there. All right. We had a big fight. And then he pulled out of the whole thing. I'm not going to say what he did, but he pulled out in the UFO world. Now he claims he's Jesus' disciple, which I know he's not. I'll challenge him to the day I die on that one. But again, people, we're in serious trouble. Not because we don't know why aliens are here. It's not going to help us to know. We're not going to be able to stop them. And you think the government wants to come out and say, look, they abduct at least 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 a year. They have no clue.
There's lots of people saying they've been seeing clear orbs, like bubbles, with things in lately. And I said years ago, but and that's documented, that they put me in a bubble to take me somewhere. And there was another, about 2 years, Another male abductee came forward and said they put him in a bubble to take him to the sun or the moon. But I did say that they told me that last time, one of the last times, the one that knows me spoke to me, said the others are coming. They're not meant to come, but they're coming soon, and they're not meant to be here. So, and he told me that one of the last times he took me, the others were coming, and that's documented. So they're coming. You can't say you heard it here first. I told you. He said that the others were coming. He didn't say when or what they were. He said they're not supposed to come here, but they do. So
Tina,
look out for that one. Yes.
see this?
No.
I don't know. Where's the camera line?
No.
I don't know. It's not going in the camera. Why is that?
Can't see it. Oh yeah, I can see the big picture of you vaguely. Yeah, you. Yeah, slightly. I can see a picture of you.
It's
No,
it's
no, I
being
can't see
weird.
nothing.
That's really bizarre. All my UFO pictures are in here. They're all copyrighted, and I can't show them publicly. Anybody wants to see them, we've got to do it offline or some other way, because my ex-partner, if he's still alive, but probably is, said he'll sue me if I use those pictures. I had to take my site down and everything.
Oh,
We had we had every picture of every kind of UFO we shot for real. Not Tic Tacs, not just blur lights, things that look like ships. We had it analyzed by a corporation in New York City, one of the top photography companies, and they said this has not been created, refaked, touched up, or anything. So we lectured for Global Sciences for years. The owner of Global Sciences died, and then the whole thing died. We were lecturing around the United States in different states every year. But every conference, one person died before they got there. We had speakers coming from all over the world to go there. And the last one, you heard the word anthrax. He had the cure for anthrax. And he was coming to the conference to give it to a scientist to analyze it. They arrested him at the airport. They said he had anthrax, which was the biggest stupid lie. But John Ford also had a piece of uranium real big. I saw the video. On Long Island, a ship crashed there, and the alien bodies were around the ship and everything. So what the government did, now they had two black trailers going in and out almost every day. They were moving all the pieces of the debris, the aliens and everything else. I saw the video when it crashed. But what happened was they put him in jail. I said, we can't keep him here. So they put him in a nut house. Then they said he wanted to kill people in Congress with uranium. And I'm not lying. He's been in jail.
You told me, yeah. You told me before, yeah.
Since 1996. Nobody in the UFO world will go to see him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I was told by FEMA if I go near his family or to him, they'll kill me and my family. All right, so I never got to see him personally after I saw his video. He sent a video around the world, 4 different countries. They get released if he dies. They don't want him to die, and they don't want to put him in jail, so they have him in a nut house. They go there every year because he has different lawyers every couple of years trying to get him out. And they say, well, he has to be reevaluated. Here since 1996. So that's what they do to UFO people. Now, my friends outside of him, I'm not going to say all their names, but my one friend worked for NASA. I met him at a UFO conference because I'm not supposed to be here. I said, do you want to see real UFOs? He goes, sure. He came over my house. And he was one of the top people working on the space probes. He designed parts for them.
You're becoming very muffled, Tommy.
Well, you're muffled, I'm muffled, going up and down. We can only do what we can do, right? But here's what happened. He came over, saw the pictures. He told me how they make the ships disappear and all those kind of things. But we were going to get together. We were going to build a private community closed off from the world because he could make anything with this machine. It was like a 4-ton machine. He says, I can design any kind of part that anything goes wrong with anything. We never have to leave the community. 2 days later, his whole family disappeared. All right. And I called them for a year because I work for the phone company. They left his phone on trying to see who called him. Every time I called, I say, hey, let him come out. Whatever you're doing to him, let him go. But never saw him again. All right. So, and that was my best friend. And I knew him since I was, oh no. I knew him since I was about 12 years old. People, the UFO world is not going to be released by the government. Stephen Greer is not going to bring any important information out. This is. Oh
And
man,
I
we're
don't know.
losing.
I keep losing signal. They keep cutting me off, the buggers.
You know, you already now, people. She already had Men in Black go to her family. No lie. Tell them that story.
Yeah.
Just so that you're
Well,
there.
I had a threatening phone call whilst going to a conference telling me not to talk. And luckily, I knew a journalist there, and he took a picture of the number. I said, if anything happens to me or my family. So the journalist has that. Luckily, he was there. Made me feel a bit safer. And someone tried to run my partner over for a couple of times right outside my house, mounted the pavement over the curb, over the grass area, and tried to kill him with a van. It's very serious. And
See, those things are to try to scare you from speaking. All right.
yeah,
When they want you dead, they do take you out, people. And now Stephen Greer goes, we're going to protect the people that come out. How are you
really?
going to do that, Mr. Stephen Greer? Get space armies put around buildings and keep them in it. He's such a fool, and I would love to meet him live. But
Well, the government's going to want to speak to us because they know, we know. I mean, when an alien being is telling you the others are coming, they're not supposed to come here, but they do, so they have to leave. What does that tell you? It's not going to be a good scenario.
there's no good scenario going to happen if everybody knows about aliens or not. But you should know they're real. That's the bottom line. I want that to happen before I die. I mean, that's why I do everything I'm doing.
The government has come out and said it. That's like it's how people are taking it now. I mean, they've gone beyond that. They said it's origin and intent, and now it's gone beyond that. When they physically have military evidence, years of it, and they've got scientific evidence backing it up with all how it makes humans bad.
Stephen Greer came out for the first couple years. He's been in it as long as I have. Not since I was young when I was dealing with people being abducted. But he came out and said the government's going to do a fake alien invasion. Well, I guess you're going to have to borrow some space suits and space aliens and everything else to make it happen. But that's not going to happen. Everything that's going to happen is going to be real. Aliens will make themselves known soon enough, people. And when they do, you're not going to like it. Like the War of the Worlds, watch that movie. The other one. Wait. What was the other one? Not the X, but the aliens come and pretend you're our friends. They're teaching people on a ship. V, the second version of V. And this whole thing, the whole world.
My signal's going again. I'm gonna. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm going to leave it here because my signal is fluctuating up and down and my phone's just gone. So we haven't got long, literally. Once that happens, I'm going to say goodbye for this week, and I'm going to try send me the link for next week. It'll either be from here or my mum's. Yeah.
Are you working 5 days a week now?
Yeah, I'm going back to 5 days a week from 4. But
what I'm saying, if we could figure a different time,
and different day, maybe move it to a Friday or something.
But not tell anybody until the.
Well, we've got to tell somebody to put it out for the link. But
we'll say tune in. Become
Can
my.
We pre-record it. We try to have to get back to Oh my, it's going. We go back to pre-recording and then release it.
That's another way we can do it.
I think that's going to be better. You're going.
We can put it on. Tina, I put 3 of our shows on Brighteon. All right, and it's really hard to get into them though. You need like 100 up. I mean, I could put 100 videos up, but I've been dealing with my teeth. I've been dealing with my hands. They're completely numb now, Tina. I had dejections. I can't move my fingers. I can, but they're completely numb for 3 weeks now. And I don't have the money to go. Well, we lost Tina. People, I'm not going to do the show today. I can go a little bit longer, but I feel bad because we can't keep Tina on. And she's got so much to say, and she's really important in the UFO world. She probably, to me, and I know she is probably number 1 UFO abductee, not an experiencer. An experiencer is a baloney bender that likes to tell stories from his programmed or her programmed ideas. Zero proof of anything. Tina has more proof of a lot of things, of what she went through and what she got, what happened to her, and what's going on with her body and everything else, people. So again, I say this show is the most realest show you're going to listen to. I was next to an alien. I was next to a UFO. Tina's been in UFOs, next to aliens. So we're not here storytelling, telling people, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I went to all these universes and the aliens took us around the universe and fed us. And ask them what they ate. What kind of food do aliens eat, people? You know, I bring it out a lot. But people don't want to talk about things they have no clue because they weren't really there. Tina has been. She's on ships with hundreds of people on them. All right, so they're not just abducting her alone. They're not here for just Tina or Joe Schmo or Peter Pan or whatever dream world is happening. But the problem is, people, we are in trouble. AI came from aliens, whether anybody wants to know that or not. When it turns real, they're going to understand why it was created in the first place. I mean, what was it, 2001, Space Odyssey? That actually went through that when I was a little boy. So, and I was born in 52, but I guess it was about 10 years later. But people, the truth is there, but trying to find it's almost impossible. With people like Richard Dolan, all right, the Skinwalker Ranch people, all the people from Ancient Aliens and stuff, tell stories. You know, it's great when you hear somebody, well, I was walking down the street and this ship came down and took them and make it sound like they were there. Have no clue what feelings. You don't ever feel normal when it happens. When you're looking at an alien, you no longer feel like you're a normal person anymore because you're not. You realize you're not the only race in the universe and you're not as important as you think you are. Now, what I will tell people, aliens will never be here to help us. They don't need us to move their civilizations forward. They're thousands of years more advanced than we are. They gave us earthquake machines to Tesla. They gave us time travel to Tesla. They gave him 50 deadly weapons and 150 other devices, and they had all copyrighted. A lot of them are in the museum in his country. It's the Tesla Museum. But again, people, he lived in New York City in a hotel room for 10 years. Wouldn't leave it. Wouldn't let anybody touch him. Wouldn't let anything happen. Who knows how much money he had because he didn't make money ever. He was never rich because he was going against all the big names in electric. But they all wanted him. But nobody gave him the money. I mean, a couple movies came out about that. Not an actual story, but the facts were in it. It was about a magician that can make things go from here to over there, which was what Tesla was doing. So again, people, this is reality, the real world, not dream world, storyland. Like I said, Tina has her things because of what's happening to her. I will be doing a spiritual show as well, trying to do it. I'm just waiting to get my teeth fixed, my fingers back to working and being normal. A lot of things happening, which have been going on for months. And I'm sorry, I wish I was a little bit different, but I'm dealing with it horrible. Hawaii doesn't have very good medical. I'm on a big island, and major cases they have to send to Honolulu. It means they got to fly into the other island. My partner, I'm not going to go into it because I'll lose the show. There's a lot of things I can't say. But people, the truth is out there, and you're not going to get it from very many people because they want to keep you locked up in the box that they're allowing you to stay in. We had major wars in space with alien races. 3 that I know of, all right? We had 3 major wars on planet Earth with aliens. That really happened, all right? But again, you think the government's going to come out and tell the world? When Putin told Trump, and this is before Trump was president, he told him, and then he told him when he met him. And Trump just said something about they're moving, guess what? The Space Force to somewhere else now. They're moving it to a private town, a village, whatever they're going to put it in. But again, why did he say that the day after he met Putin? Well, I'm creating a Space Force. Really? No, it was there. It was always there since Truman and Eisenhower created it. All right. And they're run by MJ-12. And I'll bet you Trump has no clue to who they really are. Well, they're the elite. They probably run most of the world. But Russia and the United States work together, and so did China. Not China, Japan. But Japan's kind of in a different space than Russia right now. But something you all need to know, Russia had the big earthquake. Do you remember weeks ago? Every day since the Ring of Fire. Let's see if I can show you or not. All right, try to get this on the lens. Check that out. Oh man, it's so hard to line anything up with computers. Well, the Ring of Fire is on fire. And they're all big earthquakes, which never happened in history, people. We've been having multiple giant earthquakes every day, every other day. And then we had a 7.9. So that means I say within 6 months, we're going to have an 8.5, somewhere around that, or even more. When you have numbers of thousands and numbers of 2, you're going to get a 3. When you have thousands of numbers of 3, you're going to get a 4. When you have thousands all the way up into 5. All right. But they list earthquakes, as you can see. They don't give anything out under 2.5. And they never went over 8 in the past how many years. I've been following it for 100 years, people. Since the 1900s. The charts are there. But never had they had so many in a week or in a day. Ever in history, except for the past 3 years. And after Russia had that strange earthquake that was even creating a tsunami that hit Hawaii, they all been escalating. Something's doing it, people. It's not natural. Everything that's happening now is not natural, even though scientists, well, it has to be a natural event or blah, blah, blah. They don't talk about what the United States government is playing with, what other countries are playing with. A directed energy beam, which Tesla created, is also being used right now. It's probably worse than nuclear bombs or hydrogen bombs and things like that. But pull up, if you never heard of it, okay, up in Alaska, the HAARP system, HAARP. It is the most dangerous weapon on the planet because it can send signals and do things to anywhere on the planet. And they do. So where did they get it? Mr. Tesla. And I'm telling you, I worked where Tesla worked with DuPont underground. It's all government property. The signs that are around the fences that we went through and stuff to get in there said, if you get caught here, you will be shot. And we went in there every other night for hours, for 3 or 4 hours a night. We filmed it. When we started, we were using film, which was like 1,000 pictures a night. Do you know how much it cost to develop that? But when digital cameras came out, I sold a $3,500 camera for a $500 digital camera. But it changed everything for us because then the only thing we had to buy then was batteries. Those cameras couldn't run more than a couple hundred pictures without batteries going dead. But now technology is so much advanced. You get a nice camera. I got the best video camera. It's real small. You can film anything you see, anywhere, anytime, morning, day, afternoon, night. But people, you want to see a UFO? Go outside 5 days in a row. If it's clear, watch the sky for at least 2 hours. And I say after 3 o'clock and before sunrise. All right. Don't stare at stars. Don't stare at anything. Keep your eyes open when you're looking at the sky, because if something's moving, the inner eye like catches it. But if you're staring at something, it's looking at something and it's not catching all those other things. When I go back to look at my videos, here's a ship going across the sky, right? Like this. And all of a sudden, all these other ones are cruising around in back of it. Because now I'm looking through the camera at that ship only. But I got ships coming across and following and all kinds of stuff. So it's crazy what's going on. Tina has ships over her house every night. Not the same ship. 90% of them look different than whatever she shot before. But they were there over now. And I tell her all the time, they're watching her, for one, and they are keeping her alive. She's radioactive, people. She's going to the hospital all the time. They're playing with every part of her body if they can, and they're finding all kinds of weird stuff as well. She's a guinea pig for them. All right. But she's also sick and really close to being in a negative spot than a positive spot almost all the time right now. I say they're keeping her alive. Here's the number one thing that makes it different than anything else. Radiation doesn't die and disappear in 100 years. It doesn't go up and then down, up and then down, like her radiation does. Next week, we'll make her bring it out. When I first met her, I made her go out and buy a Geiger counter. And she was always radioactive. So think about that. Hold on. I appreciate it. Thank you. I got to go. All right. Sorry. Tune in next week. Okay, kids.